We'll wait until what, 12:05, Alicia?
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Give them a few more minutes. Hope you guys can't hear Janelle.
I can't. I can't hear.
Not through the microphone. Yeah.
No, I think you're good, Richard. I don't hear her either.
'Cause I can very clearly hear.
Add that to the list of why I moved.
Yeah. Oh, probably move across. Go to the empty conference room that we have.
There you go.
Future or future time. Hey,
There's
Sean.
Sean.
Hey guys.
Thanks for hopping on, Sean.
No problem.
We're giving everybody one more minute and then we're going to get started.
We're at 12:05.
Right.
I guess we can get started. Let me start off by just sharing my screen. This is the right one. Yes. So hello everyone. I'm Richard Swaisgood, Director of Identity Management. My background's a little bit from a modern work. Microsoft Viva is a big part of the modern work and sort of Microsoft's new thing. And so we decided to host a Microsoft Viva employee experience webinar. And that's what we're here for today. I wanted to cover a little bit of the agenda before we sort of dive in. We are going to be doing an introduction to the employee experience. You'll sort of hear that go back and forth. What is an employee experience and how does that tie into Viva? Then we'll go into the Microsoft Viva experience areas, connection, insight, purpose, and growth. What do those things mean and how do they tie back to the Viva employee experience? Ultimately, what is the business value of the Viva platform? Is this something that your organization's interested in using or not? And then we'll conclude with a day in the life demo. At that point, we'll probably stop recording. And then we can have sort of a general free-form Q&A. So any questions that you might potentially have in the chat, or if you are uncomfortable with sort of being recorded, you can wait until at the end of the recorded session, and then you can kind of ask your questions. Sean, did you want to add anything there?
Sorry, I was muted. No, I hope everybody sort of is hearing or knows about Viva. So ultimately, maybe Richard, conceptually for the business world in today's day and age, like what is Viva meant to do in kind of a new world of IT, like with culture and connections and learning management? We're going to go through that.
Oh yeah, we're going to cover exactly, what is the Viva experience and how does it tie with, in essence, today's modern workplace.
Okay,
the
awesome.
workplace has changed quite a bit after COVID, and Viva is really an answer to some of the challenges that organizations have. So we'll definitely be going into it and how does that sort of apply to the modern workplace. Cool. I'll go ahead and get into it. So over the past few years, the workplace has changed. We've seen global trends emerge where employees are not just concerned with how and when and also why they work. What's clear is that employees today are redefining the role of work in their lives and are taking a step back to evaluate the worth it equation. It's no longer about just a paycheck, but about prioritizing things like flexibility, human connection, and meaning in their work. Some of the statistics that sort of point to how the employees are sort of changing the way that they value their work 83% of employees are motivated to come into the office by the promise of socializing with coworkers. 75% of employees think that their company does not solicit feedback enough. 81% of employees say that it's important for managers to help them prioritize their workload. 76% of employers say that employees, say they'd stay at a company longer if they received learning and development support. On top of these workforce challenges, leaders must also balance increasing economic uncertainty, growing inflation, and supply chain disruptions, all of which put pressure on the bottom line. One way leaders can address their workforce challenge is to find modern ways to engage and develop their employees, especially important in our hybrid world. There's so much that technology can do to support employees in this changing environment, but navigating life at work can be hard. First, there's a proliferation of tech. Many companies have 6 or more tools for employee experience, and most of these tools are point solutions looking to solve one or a few symptoms in separate experiences. I'm sure many people have so many different tools in the toolbox today that they have to kind of get up to date with. Many of the tools today are completely out of date and irrelevant to the workforce. We use Microsoft Teams day in and day out nowadays. We are using Slack. We're using all these different tools. Some of the traditional employee experiences tools are just not really up to date. They don't really fit the needs of business leaders today. And all these different technologies can be confusing for the end users to sort of learn. And so 95% of business leaders are looking for one comprehensive system to apply for their end users and employees. The good news is research shows that when companies invest in their people and focus on improving the employee experience, they can directly impact core employee outcomes such as employee engagement, well-being, and satisfaction. Employees want to feel more connected and aligned to their company purpose and mission. They want to grow, make a difference, and have an impact. Leaders need a modern way to engage and develop their employees to equip them with the skills and tools needed to drive growth. When they do that, they can directly improve employee retention and overall business results. So that brings us to the main topic. So what is an employee experience platform? An employee experience platform, sometimes called the EXP, is a digital platform that puts people at the center by bringing together systems of work with systems of support into an integrated employee experience. And it provides people with the resources and support they need to succeed and thrive no matter their location. At the core of an EXP is the digital fabric, the natural productivity and collaboration workspaces where employees spend their time. On top of that digital fabric is the engagement layer that enables a personalized and intelligent experience, empowering every type of worker and every function. This engagement layer consists of apps and services to help employees thrive, from onboarding tools, feedback mechanisms, resources, communities, and much more. The EXP, employee experience, is also connected to existing infrastructure systems with bidirectional integrations directly into the systems of record and point solutions, making it easy for HR, IT, and other operators to design and enable a consumer-grade, frictionless employee experiences. But the key to getting this right is starting with the correct digital fabric. Like I mentioned at the very beginning of this, Microsoft Teams is where everything is hosted in now. Let's talk a little bit about Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams has become the default for where most of our customers do remote and hybrid work. Today, more than 250 million people use Teams. We're on a Teams call right now. Teams is unique because it brings together all these collaboration and communication capabilities into one unified experience. It's not just about where people attend a meeting and then turn it off at the end, or just a place to collaborate on documents and chat. People work in teams with each other all day. It's become a place to share ideas, to automate process, and to create human connections, no matter where you are located. And importantly, Teams can also bring in all the other apps and resources into an integrated workplace hub, enabling us to have the foundation to design the employee experience. That brings me to Microsoft Viva. Microsoft Viva is Microsoft's new employee experience platform. It launched in February 2021. Viva empowers people and teams to be their best from anywhere. Viva is built right into Microsoft Teams and experienced through Microsoft 365, so employees can find what they need and when they need it. quick example of some of the different tools and services. We'll be going much deeper into these as we go through this. Microsoft Viva brings together all the tools and employees needed to be successful in today's world of work into one unified solution that enables employee connection, insight, purpose, and growth. Viva has product experiences that support each stage of the employee journey. For example, you can keep everyone informed, included, and inspired, improve productivity, well-being with actionable insights, align people's work to team and organization goals, help employees learn, grow, and succeed. Microsoft Viva also includes a set of experiences that are designed to improve the employee experience for specific roles and functions. It's Viva Sales.
Rich, will Viva
Mhm.
Sales sit on top of Dynamics?
Viva Sales is part of the Power Platform. So yes, it is sort of built on top of Dynamics, but you don't have to purchase Dynamics licensing for that. It's its own standalone license. And it directly integrates with Salesforce. So one of the things that people don't know about Viva Sales is that it works best if you integrate with the pre-existing sales platform like Salesforce. Cool. Now, Viva is different than other employee experiences. Viva is integrated to work across all of your Microsoft 365 solutions, Microsoft Teams, and any of those third-party apps that are connected to those. So you can engage people naturally with what they're working in. So you don't have to install a different application or service or direct users to different locations. Viva is the only employee experience that fully taps into the power of the Microsoft Graph to help you turn workplace data and insights into competitive advantages. So if you're using things like Power BI, Power Apps, any of those components, these tie in directly with Microsoft Viva. And finally, this is built onto the Microsoft 365 cloud. So Viva is secure, extensible, and you can develop your own custom solutions within that. Probably should have done that earlier. Now let's talk about the business impacts of Microsoft Viva. You can reduce labor cost primarily through the process of decreasing the onboarding for your end users, training them, just really cutting down those day-to-day costs associated with managing your employees. You can increase revenue through boosting of, sorry, let me pull this back. You can increase revenue through better outcomes in your day-to-day process. You can improve and enhance employee engagement by working on their well-being, on their training, and increasing overall profitability. And then finally, you can reduce IT admin and development costs by simplifying the types of solutions that you deploy to your end users. Microsoft Viva is also designed so customers can leverage their existing investments in Microsoft technologies, as well as their HR, learning, and well-being systems. These are some of the partners that Microsoft has worked with to build out the Viva platform. So if you are currently using Glint or currently using things like edX for your training courses, these do directly integrate with the Viva employee experience. Now let's dive into Viva into a little bit more of their different experience areas. The first experience area is connection. Microsoft Viva can help promote a vibrant, inclusive workforce culture where information and knowledge flows freely and everyone belongs. With Microsoft Viva, help people discover relevant and personalized information, news, and resources through the apps they use every day. Create communities where anyone can exchange ideas to keep employees informed, invested, and inspired. Facilitate a two-way dialogue between employees and leaders. Connect and engage frontline workers with the right tools, people, and information they need to do their best. Here are some of the product capabilities to help support this experience area. Viva Connections is the gateway to your employee experience. So Viva Connections is a specific product within the Viva platform, previously known as SharePoint. So if anyone has any experience with SharePoint, this might be a little bit familiar. It brings together news and announcements, conversations, apps, tasks, and resources into a single destination. The experience reflects your organization because you can brand it with your name, icon, and colors, and it is personalized for each employee because AI delivers feeds of relevant content and information to your end users. Microsoft, go ahead.
Richard, sorry, I know him very well, so I call him by his last name sometimes. So, we did a webinar this morning on this, but when you talk about the AI and like people trying to understand like what comes in day to day that's important to them, give it like examples, like a Word doc that they had worked on, or maybe important meetings that are coming up, or even how they spend their time. I know a lot of companies are asking us, how do my employees spend their time, and what are they up to? Not so much look over them, but really just to make sure they're efficient in their daily tasks. Is the AI driving a lot of that?
That's part of the Viva Insights platform. And yes, so using the Viva Insights platform, you can see, are they having effective meetings? Are they busy working on other things while they're on meetings? How are they sort of breaking down their day? I think a lot of times, especially with remote work, organizations are sort of focusing on having as many touch points with their employees, since you don't necessarily have that face-to-face, and that can be detrimental. Employees often complain about having too many meetings. And through the Viva Insights, you can find out, are you having effective meetings? Are you having those touch points? Are there any employees that are being left out? The opposite problem. Maybe you haven't chatted with an end user, had a meeting with a particular employee in months. And so the Viva Insights helps you understand what those trends are within your organization, and potentially go through and start implementing some more modern ways of having those touch points with your employees and your team.
Awesome.
Now, Microsoft Viva can also be experienced on desktop and mobile. So you can bring that employee experience to your knowledge workers and frontline workers. A lot of people may not realize this. All these tools are available on mobile devices. And I think we're getting pretty close to the time where you don't necessarily issue a laptop to your end users. I think we're so connected nowadays that having a mobile experience is pretty critical for a lot of these solutions. Now, Microsoft is evolving Connections to become the central launch pad for every employee. That is through Viva Home. Employees will be able to go to one central location to access all of these different experiences. It may already be out. I think some new tenants have already received the Viva Home update. If you go into the Viva Connections app, you'll see a very similar screen to what you see there. This allows you to have one centralized location, so you don't necessarily have 6, 7, 12 different kind of apps. Everything goes into one place within your Microsoft Teams. You just click on that Viva Home button and you get access to all these different types of experiences that we have here. Viva Engage, previously known as Yammer, if anyone knows any of the history behind that. Viva Engage as an app, which is a new way to foster digital community and conversations with the ability for employees to share stories, news, and more. Viva Engage helps organizations build employee engagement and communication at scale. In the Viva Engage Communities tab, employees can connect with coworkers and communities built around interests, job types, departments, and everything else to find your belonging at work. Leadership Corner in Viva Engage is a space for employees to interact directly with leadership, share ideas, perspective, participate in org initiatives, and more.
Richard, we have a question.
Oh, sorry. I can't see when
No
I'm
problem.
sharing the screen.
No,
Go ahead.
So Jack asked this question: if we've already invested heavily in the modern SharePoint development, maybe with Teams or not, but does it really port over easily to Viva?
Yes. So if you are, the main question is going to be whether or not you're using modern or classic SharePoint sites. If you are in the modern SharePoint experience, like you mentioned, Viva just builds off of that. It could be something as simple as just deploying the Viva Connections app and connecting your home site to it, and then having that experience be built into your existing SharePoint infrastructure, or we can potentially re-architect. It just depends on whether or not you're getting effective use of your internet solution now. But yeah, if you're currently using SharePoint and it's working for you, we can layer on some of the Viva Connections features and basically build off all the infrastructure you've already deployed.
Awesome.
Viva Amplify is a new internal communications hub that equips leaders and communicators to easily send out content across multiple channels in Microsoft 365. The app centralizes communication campaigns, offers writing guidance to improve message resonance, and provides metrics for improvements. With Viva, you only write the message once and can distribute across multiple channels in just a few clicks. It gives you a single place to share drafts, track approvals, and publish. It will help you visualize and optimize your message by previewing your final output for each channel. And like marketers, you'll have the ability to understand and track impact of your messages, making it easy for communicators, whether it's HR, IT, or workplace services, to create effective communications and campaign at scales. It's not out, it's coming out later on this year. It is included in the Viva suite, so you don't necessarily have to pay anything extra for that. As we start deploying all these different tools, Yammer, Engage, Connections, having one central location to be able to manage your communication is going to be key to driving all these different tool sets. There's also a new people and org discovery experience in Viva, also coming later this year. Colleagues can discover people, connections, experts across the org through enriched profile card experiences available to Microsoft 365 customers. In essence, be able to go in, discover people from different organizations, departments, their skill sets, and go through the process of discovering what their role within your organization is. It's in essence org chart, but 2.0.
Yeah, and we had always a lot of clients we had seen, Rich, in the past. From I remember, you could be in a large healthcare company and they might have skills from previous jobs that they could publish in something like this, and you could search up something you may not know about, and they may have published what it was they had once done and find out real quick. Hey, I'm going to call this person across the organization. So it's a really cool tool to discover expertise you may not have known you had.
Oh yeah, you have the capability to go in there and update your skill sets and look for other people that have other skill sets. Ties in a lot with the Viva topics, which we'll cover a little bit later. So you'll be able to find, the SMEs or the experts within your environment about specific projects or specific services. And part of the demo, I'll show how you can get that kind of information through Teams chat.
Hey,
Now the
Richard,
next experience. Oh,
we
go
had
ahead.
a quick question from Carla. She's wondering if we can deploy Viva to a selected group initially, maybe a small adoption group.
It depends on what specific tool or service, but broadly speaking, yes. So if you get the Viva suite and you're looking at combining the 4 core services, you can target. So Viva Learning, for example, you can target who has access to the learning or the training resources via security group. Viva Connections, it's the same thing. Who has access to that SharePoint site? That's sort of the foundation for that. I think every tool has the capability for you to go and do sort of a pilot. I would recommend doing a pilot for all of these tools. You're trying to understand the messaging and how you want to train your end users is going to be key. And starting with a pilot can make that process a little bit easier.
So Carla, Richard, her IT team could test drive it for the rest of the company.
That is correct. That's often how we do implementations here at Managed Solution. We try to target, usually we do a technical pilot. So we'll start with IT teams, people that are sort of involved with the technology. Then we'll open up the pilot to, any champions that you have within your environment, maybe any people that are uncomfortable with the technology rollout. And we'll really focus on that pilot to help us craft the communications that we're going to use later when we deploy at scale, as well as to maybe turn some of the people that from warriors to what's the terms, success, that they want to, they're, evangelist almost for the technology. And having that pilot and testing can really help that, because then they'll see the value of the technology. Cool. The next experience area is insight. Microsoft Viva unlocks real-time insights and actionable recommendations to help everyone in the organization work smarter and stay focused. With Microsoft Viva, individuals get personalized insights and nudges to help them stay focused, productive, and mindful throughout the day. Help managers identify and address opportunities to reduce burnout and increase productivity, understand the impact of hybrid work on people and the business, and address challenges important to your business with advanced tools and custom insights. Here are some of the products and capabilities in this specific area. Oh, did that not update? Okay, there it goes. Sorry. With personal insights in Viva, Employees can explore ways to build better work habits, track and improve the effectiveness of meetings, and prioritize well-being with actionable recommendations, such as reserving time for focus work. I personally use this a lot. If you haven't necessarily had an issue where you have too many calendars or too many meetings in a given day, going through and using the Viva Insights focus work function can really help you be able to focus on the important things and not be stuck in meetings all day. It helps managers foster productivity and well-being for teams large or small and build personal habits that impact team culture. For example, by scheduling regular one-on-ones or no meeting days. It can also help leaders address unique business challenges by generating valuable insights and flexible reports to keep a pulse on employee well-being and engagement, meeting effectiveness, burnout, risk, and process efficiency. Briefing email includes content and insights from across Viva. Employees who start their day in Outlook will now be reminded of upcoming required learning and be able to pre-book time on their calendar to complete assigned courses. And over time, they will see suggested topics and meeting recaps in their email. Viva Pulse, a new employee survey tool that allows managers and teams to easily request regular confidential feedback so they can understand their team needs and take action. Managers can pick from a customizable question library with research-backed templates designed to drive team success. As a manager, I can choose when and how often to pulse my teams so that I can spot and surface issues earlier than traditional review cycles. This helps me keep my team engaged. Any questions on the People Pulse? It's a brand new product coming out in 2023.
Yeah, but we've been testing it, like sending out, especially with the hybrid workforce, every 90 days, people get a check-in survey, the manager gets it. It's just a great way to keep up with, how people are not so much performing, but how they're feeling about being part of the company and ultimately the culture within the company. And there's a million ways to do it, but this made it easy from a peer communication perspective.
Yeah, and having that built into Microsoft Teams makes it really easy. You don't have to necessarily have people go in and click on links that they don't necessarily recognize from a security perspective. I know that's historically sort of been a challenge, handling those sort of campaigns to try to get feedback from your end users. So having something built into the Teams platform is super beneficial, and also makes it so you can do it more frequently. So you don't necessarily have to go in and use third-party products to go out and pull that information.
And Richard, I would ask you the question, when Teams evolved, I saw people with, oh God, I got to go to Teams to get, what's chatting or what's happening with all company. But Outlook is still the dominant force in terms of like where you check every morning, what's going on. Potentially, some people have really resorted to just using Teams. But back to what you mentioned about Outlook, it would appear like you're going to get the important updates to Viva through Outlook for yourself on a daily basis.
That is correct. So Microsoft is moving the Cortana functionality. If you ever received the Cortana functionality, you may have noticed that stopped. They're basically rebranding it and switching it out over to a new daily experience. So you can get notifications, you can get briefing information from all the various Viva products into your Outlook email. So if you're someone that prefers to work within Outlook, and maybe you don't necessarily start your day with Teams, you can still get some of the value from those platforms within your Outlook. So you don't necessarily have to change your daily habits. I would recommend that. I think over time, a lot of people have switched over to having Teams be their starting point. But again, it's nice to have that option to be able to go in and start your day off with Outlook and get your valuable insights from within that service from your desktop, mobile, or web version. Cool. Now, the next experience is purpose. Microsoft Viva helps you align people and projects to strategic business priorities, set clear goals, and empower people and teams to accomplish more. With Microsoft Viva, you can clarify and align goals across the organizations so people know how to succeed together, accelerate objective and key results by making approvals, workflows, and check-ins a seamless process, Access and update objectives, check in on progress, and see a shared view of team priorities to create a culture of purpose, alignment, and belongings. Now, the specific product that we are referring to in this scenario is, Sean probably can tell, Viva Goals. Alignment from the top to down of an organization is essential to stay focused on strategic priorities, drive employee engagement, and productivity. Viva Goals is a very simple and intuitive system that has the best practices of using OKRs built right into it and help organizations adopt OKRs at scale. So if you're currently looking at deploying OKRs within your environment, if you use the OKR framework, Viva Goals is for you. Viva Goals brings OKRs into the flow of work, where your team is doing work, and help teams connect work to the purpose and stay focused on the impact. The real magic happens when your OKRs aren't just a scorecard you update once a month or once a quarter, but rather an active part of your daily work, highlighting for your employees the purpose and impact of their everyday activities and putting your goals at the core of everything you do.
And I think, Rich, that
Mhm.
one, and I've noticed in organizations, especially again with everybody working remote, it's centralizing goal management or objective key results. But again, when you go back to Teams and you're able to get a notification to say, hey, check in on that goal, and you can slide the bar. I moved it 5% today towards my goal. It makes it a lot easier than traditionally tracking goals in separate systems and feeling like when the meeting comes up with your management team, you have to go and update everything. It just does that constant reminder to you. And for a lot of leaders, it's all about keeping people on task, like helping them realize, keep the end in mind, if we will, the goal in mind. And having those like reminders is a nice thing within Teams coming from Viva.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if your platform supports it, so Dynamics, Salesforce, Jira, you can get, you don't even have to go in and actually update Viva Goals itself. It does have data connectors, so you can see that status be updated automatically. For anything that maybe doesn't have a direct integration, you can always do manual updates, or you can even create some integration with some Power Apps or Power BI, so you can make it even easier to update those KPIs. Viva Goals reduces the friction and helps the OKR program to run on autopilot. With deep integrations into the tools a team is already using, such as Dynamics, Salesforce, and Jira, Viva Goals can automatically update OKRs with reminders to drive check-in behavior and dashboards that automatically update with the latest check-in information. We help your teams focus on driving impact and not driving the process. Viva Goals helps bring visibility into organizational goals and priorities to the people who are further from senior leadership in the organization that don't know why they are doing what they are doing. Anything you want to add to that, to the Viva Goals? I know we're currently in the process of doing a pretty big Viva Goals rollout here at Managed Solution, and so Sean can probably provide a very unique perspective.
No, I would just say at a very topical level, you want to create, we call it like the BHAG goals for an organization, what it looks like in a year from now. And then in there you have projects affiliated with those goals or activities with those goals. And then frankly, the coolest part is that you can interlace those goals within not Microsoft Teams, but create teams. So if the marketing and sales funnel up to another part of the organization, that organizational goal gets updated by those teams. So everybody's on the same page. It's just a very easy way to keep track of the movement within a company from a goals perspective.
Thank you. So let's talk about the last experience area, and that's growth. Microsoft Viva can help you develop and retain top talent by giving people the right content, information, and connections they need to grow at every stage of their career. With Microsoft Viva, you can inspire learning and growth by offering curated courses, reskilling assignments, and personalized development plans. Streamline new hires and new to-role onboarding so people can ramp up quickly and thrive. Make it easy to learn on the job and help employees easily find the knowledge, resources, and expertise they need to succeed, and foster individual organizational growth through networking, mentorship, and communities. Here are some of the product capabilities that help support this experience area. The first is Viva Learning. Employees can get access to all of their available learning resources through personalized learning homepage. In the My Learning tab, employees can quickly access bookmarked, recently viewed, recommended, assigned, and recently completed courses. Viva Learning surfaces content from multiple learning providers, including Microsoft, third-party learning systems such as Coursera, edX, and even your organization's own learning content. This content can be accessed from any device. So if you already have a bunch of training within SharePoint, or if you're leveraging something like LinkedIn Premium, you can add those training resources directly into Viva Learning and have a dedicated centralized location for all the skilling within your employee experience. Your employees can also share learning content in Teams messages, meeting chats, or emails, creating a culture of social learning. Being able to quickly link during chat a specific course or a specific learning article that you read through Viva Learning can really help proliferate that training. Oftentimes people learn by word of mouth, and having the ability to very quickly go in and link a training that you were kind of referring to can make things really easy. It's also a very nice way to nudge employees to take that certificate training that you requested. With the deeper integration between Viva Learning and LinkedIn Learning Hub, to make it even easier to access skill building content from LinkedIn Learning Hub right into the flow of work in Teams. Sync content and learner records across both systems to simplify the learning experience. Leverage existing identity providers such as Azure Active Directory to authenticate users right into Viva Learning for a more seamless in-app player experience. So if you are using LinkedIn Learning, that does directly integrate with Viva Learning. Makes sense? They're both owned by Microsoft.
And I think if Teams is the platform that organizations settled on, Richard, and that communication, that IM or even meeting, but being able to, and we think about many service companies who roll trucks or learning materials that they publish or how-tos, like being able to source it right there in the IM to be able to say, hey, check out this article or this learning material. It's instrumental. You talk about certifications for people. Game changer is what we found with a lot of those things.
Oh yeah, being able to just simply go into a Teams chat and say, hey, can you please take care of this? And then have the user be able to go in, click on it, and just say, add it to my calendar for tomorrow. Makes things a lot easier. Now, Viva Topics, which is the next product that we're going to be talking about, it helps enable faster learning, connections, and innovations by making information easier to find. A lot of organizations have problems finding the existing resources. If you're already using SharePoint to store all of your different documents and PowerPoints and presentations, Viva Topics makes it easy for you to be able to find that information and understand what are the experts within a company and where they can find the appropriate resources needed to become experts in that. Viva Topic uses AI to connect, manage, and help protect your organization's knowledge and expertise, delivering them across all Microsoft 365 apps. It's a really cool feature, being able to see the little map of all the different subject matter experts. I'll show that again in the little demo. With so much learning and skilling happening both in structured formats and organically, we continue to build on the knowledge management and learning pillar to expand into new areas like Q&A. A new experience called Answers in Viva that uses AI to match employee questions to answers and experts across the organization to help put collective knowledge to work for all employees. It's basically Quora, but from within your company. That's coming to Viva Engage sometime later in 2023. Now, if we go back to the business impact of Microsoft Viva, with Viva, you can reduce labor costs, increase revenue through business transformation, enhance the employee engagement, and reduce IT admin and deployment costs. At the end of the day, what is the actual real world impact based on some of the organizations that have adopted Viva in the last couple of years? Forrester interviewed customers who had adopted Viva over the last year and found that they achieved significant benefits. 50% faster time to onboard new hires, improved employee productivity due to 75% reduction of time it takes to search for people and information, 20% reduction in employee attrition, and more like time savings for operation teams and improved business outcomes. The takeaway, this is all based on the Forrester Tool Economic Impact Study, customers see a 327% return on investment in less than 6 months, with more than 10 million monthly active users and over 1,000 paid customers around the world, Viva is helping leaders bring out the best in their people and enabling organizations to succeed. The goal is to give you flexibility in how you adopt Viva as part of your employee experience journey. The Viva Suite plan includes insights, learning, topics, goals, and engage. Customers who take advantage of the suite plan now will also benefit from the new modules such as Viva Amplify and Pulse when they become generally available at no additional cost. There's no additional cost for Viva Connections because it's already included in a Microsoft 365 plan. Any questions on the overall Viva Suite employee experience? Let me see if I can, anything in chat? Okay, cool. So the next thing is the actual demo. So I'm going to be actually showing how some of these tools work together, and hopefully it'll go well, knock on wood. So today we're going to be using these tools as Megan Bowen. She is a PR manager for this fictional company named Contoso that's going to be used in our demo environment. She's juggling to balance work and life. She has a new team. Her teams are showing sign of burnout and wants to get the team aligned and improve their well-being. So give me a second while I set up the demo, or actually just share my screen. There you go. And where is Teams? Can you see my screen now?
I can
Okay.
see it.
Awesome. Thank you. Now, the first thing I'm going to be showing is Megan starts her day off by looking into the Viva Insights app. Now, currently, it doesn't have a lot of information. It's a little bit of a limitation with the demo itself, but there's some things that we can showcase. So the first thing she wants to do is she wants to go through and update who her team is. So by default, you need to understand, who are the teams, who are the members of your team, and that provides a lot of personalized insights into how your teamwork's habits work. So we'll click on the teamwork habits. We'll click on edit team members. Joanna started today. She's a new member of Megan's team. Joanna, is it Joanna Lawrence? Confirm. And then if we go back to teamwork habits, you'll see that it'll list all of her recent last one-on-one, where the next one-on-one is, so you can keep track of how frequently you're going through and meeting with the various team members. So you can make sure you have touch points with them frequently. You can also go through this process of scheduling a no meeting day. I won't do this quite yet, but you can go through and specify this is a specific date that we want to make sure that we don't have any meetings so we can kind of collaborate. But for now, I'll be scheduling some focus time so I can focus on and not have so many meetings throughout every day. You can specify how many hours a day you want. So you just want to block 1 hour, what your preferred time is, and then whether or not you allow any notifications. You can invite the members of the team that we set up earlier so they can have a similar schedule so you can work together. And then you can give a name to the plan and any optional information. Once you do that, your team members will get a notifications, an email, and saying, would you like to join this shared sort of focus plan? And you'll be able to start collaborating together. Any questions on that? Now, Megan is looking into improving her skill set. She recently started as a marketing manager here at Contoso. And so she goes into the Viva Learning and is looking at what optional training she's received. Now, you may have noticed she has cybersecurity saved as an interest. As much as the cybersecurity team would probably appreciate her learning some cybersecurity, that's a mistake. So we need to go in and update what her specific interests are. So we're removing cybersecurity, going through and specifying she is a marketing major, or marketing. So we'll go ahead and add marketing. Once we save the updates, you'll see that you will start getting specific training sources available to you based on your specific interests. Now I'm going to go ahead and pick one of these. Introduction to Microsoft 365. Now this does require a LinkedIn Learning subscription, so optional tool. If you go through here, you can see that there's little icons depending on how many of these need the different kinds of sources. Again, you can kind of specify where these are all sort of pulled from. So if you don't want to have any premium training resources, you can sort of ignore those. This demo has a lot of that stuff, so I'm just going to pull one of the ones that are actually just for free. This one doesn't have the lock icon, so it does not require any extra licensing. I'll go ahead and schedule this for tomorrow. And I've scheduled some training for me to be able to go in and learn about teamwork. Now, Joanna and Adele are new employees that have started, and I want to make sure that they get some training done. So I'll go into a Teams chat and click on the little Viva Learning, and I can go through here and specify a specific training course for them. Did I spell that right? There it is. Then they'll be able to go in and add it to their calendar and get the training done. Now, Megan is new at Contoso, and so she's interested to see what are the company values, maybe some benefit information. And so she goes into Viva Connections. I'll laugh if it doesn't load. Okay, it loaded. Now, Viva Connections has the new homepage experience that I mentioned. So this is supposed to launch in 2023. You'll either be sent here or you'll be sent to the landing, which is your SharePoint home site. But in this specific example, we are showcasing the Viva Home. And then from here, she can get access to her dashboard and all the various other Viva learning experiences. She can also access company resources down here. So she can go in and go to that homepage, look at the leadership connection, look at any news items, as well as any frequented sites. So this is a one-stop shop to all the company resources within the existing internet experience. She also has access to the dashboard. So from this dashboard, she can go in and get information specifically for her. Example for that would be she can go in and take a look at how much time off she has. She can go in, look at the cafe menu. She can go in and find out what are the upcoming holidays that this organization has. Now, some of these are require some development work. So to integrate with your existing human resources, such as Paylocity or Workday, a lot of these do have pre-built connectors. So you can easily go in and start adding some of these adaptive cards, such as the planner adaptive cards or some of the other adaptive cards. And so all this here is an easy way to put resources that are specific just to that user, context sensitive. Over here on the right, you're supposed to have the little feed, but demo environment doesn't work. Now, if we go into the actual home site, from here, we can see all of the company resources. This is up to you to sort of customize. So in this case, they have some new product innovation news articles that they've sort of posted. They have a strategy and vision, as well as the most recent leadership keynote from the COO, everything from here. Megan can go through and look at some previous company news so you can understand what are the things that are happening within your organization. Now that she's got herself up to date, it's time for her to find out what her specific goals are. What are the things that she's supposed to be working on? So she goes into Viva Goals. Whenever this loads. And she takes a look at her specific OKRs. So right now she's looking at the OKRs that she's directly associated. So she'll go in and she has a couple objectives. So is she currently on track? Grow pipeline. Which one was the one? Okay. 25 on-site users testing. She's on track. She, however, is behind on presenting an action plan. So she goes in and clicks on that. This is a specific project. That being said, this has not been updated for a while. Last updated January 31st. Since then, she's actually completed getting the action plan together and she just needs to present it. So she'll go in and do a check-in, update this to 75% done. And now she's back on track. If you have KPIs that are integrated with Salesforce, that would be automatically updated. You don't have to manually do these check-ins, so keep that in mind. She then takes a look at the overall objectives for her organization, Contoso Electronics. From here, she can see that Patty Fernandez, the COO, is looking to publicly launch the Mark 8 to establish in the industry leadership, and then she has a specific KPI associated with it. You can see that generates substantial interest from press and influencers, leading to 150 backlinks. She also has a couple other objectives under create massive marketing momentum for her launch. If she goes back to her personal OKRs, she can see that she can see those specific goals here. Now she's quite behind in some of these, so she's going to go in and try to find out. Some of these KPIs are actually assigned to other people within her organization, Christy Klein and Alex Wilbur. She clicks on the specific KPI and notice that they have not actually updated this in a while. So she goes through and says, oh, sorry, forgot to do that. Christy will be notified. Now she hasn't checked in with these two members because they're not listed in her Viva Insights. So she goes ahead, goes back to her Viva Insights, goes to her teamwork habits, and adds Alex and Christy. To help her focus, she decides to have a no meeting day with the whole team to be able to meet her goals. Let's meet on Fridays because everyone loves having meetings on Fridays. And then we just need this for the next quarter. So this tells her team to not have any meetings on Fridays, and Viva will make sure that when meeting requests come in, it's already blocked out. So you can have the time to focus and get those goals met. Now she goes back into Viva goals. And she focuses on the fact that they have 3 celebrity guests to secure for the event. That is one that's pretty far behind, and so she's going to try to focus on that. She goes into Viva Engage. Okay, cool. Always love when you have errors and so she's going to poll the whole organization. Who are some celebrities we can invite to product lunch? Or actually, who should we invite to the product launch? Because this company apparently has the ability to pull in, let's see, Rihanna, Pedro Pascal, Paul Rudd. And we're going to ask Contoso Life. While she's here, she goes through and takes a look at any of the other kind of questions and engagements. You can see that there's some communication from the COO and other collaborations, so she can feel connected to her community. Now, she knows that there is an upcoming project coming up and that she wants to make sure that her team is prepared. So she'll go into the chat with Adele and Joanna and give them information about a specific topic. So in this case, she wants to make sure that they're up to date with the information on the DC 330 topic. Click on that. This sends them information. So if Joanna and Adele are not really up to date on what DC 330 is, they can click on it and it'll provide them the information from the Viva Topics system if it loads. Let's see, there it goes. Okay. From here,
We
what was
are
that?
at 1 o'clock. So
Oh,
just
yes.
giving you a reminder.
I'm almost done. Just a little tiny bit more.
Okay. Thank
From
you.
here, she can see all the people that are associated with the DC33 project, any of the suggested people, any of the files and pages, and any suggested sites, as well as this nice little map to see any of the related technologies. So they can go in and say, okay, so what is this Southwest video? And go through and explore the knowledge within the organization. Now it's getting close to her end of the day. She goes into the Viva Insights and decides to do her digital commute for the day. Why do I not see this? Oh, of course it's not here. Meeting responses, private time. Virtual queuing, here it is. She'll see the upcoming meetings for the following day. She doesn't have time to join that call, so she'll go through the process of rescheduling it. Everything else looks good. Everything's accepted. These are the tasks that she took care of today. And finally decides to end the day by doing a little bit of a breather break through Headspace. Cool. And that concludes the demo.
Awesome. So pretty.
Rich, just out of curiosity,
Mhm.
so the way I describe it and the way I think people should think about it is Viva is, in essence, nowadays, the hub for information for organizations, goals, learning, connections. But Teams still is the communication medium to push that information in and out to the appropriate people. Is that how I should be seeing it?
Yeah. So it's sort of that layer that helps connect people through Teams, through Outlook, through all the various different tools to the resources that they need to get access to the expertise within the organization, to create those touch points that don't exist in a hybrid workforce anymore.
All right. Well, thank you for doing this. Is there anything else we had on the agenda, Alicia?
No, that's it. Thank you, Richard. It was awesome.
And I think a lot of this comes back to just helping a business conceptualize a lot like SharePoint. What is that wireframe or business? What is that going to end up looking like? So some of that is discovery and design work. I know, working within the different departments from what we've seen. So it's a process, but it is really the way the world seems to be moving. So that's why it's exciting. Well, thank you, everyone. We're going to jump off, and then if you have any questions, by all means, reach out.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.